this was a big week, right? We had the French president and the UK prime minister, and now we have President Zelensky coming today, and maybe, I think likely, or he wouldn't be here, signing this rare earth mineral agreement. So starting with that, it's essentially ended up being that American companies will get access, whatever that means, to 50% of the minerals in Ukraine, which is substantial. I mean, I've seen reports from reputable groups that it's trillions. Half of it, or more than half of it's under the part of Ukraine that's currently occupied by Russia. So, from the Ukrainian perspective, if the U.S. wants access to that, they need to help Ukraine gain their territory back. What's not in here, and what Ukraine really wanted, of course, were security guarantees. That is the biggest thing they need. And ultimately, there probably won't be a ceasefire agreement unless there's some security guarantees, because Russia has violated, specifically when it comes to Ukraine, the agreement not to attack them multiple times, starting in 1994 when they gave up their nuclear weapons, in 2014 after they already annexed Crimea. They agreed not to do it again. They did in 2022. So there should be zero trust on whether they will carry this out unless there's a security guarantee by NATO or European partners or the United States or all the above. If there's not, then it's hard to see how Ukraine would accept a ceasefire that would simply allow Russia to prepare to then attack them again. But we all should hope that's the case. We all should hope that, of course, President Trump and his administration are successful in getting us to a ceasefire that's lasting to stop this horrendous war that Russia started.
Mick, is there any scenario that you can think of where President Putin and President Trump could come up with some type of peace accord that does not include Ukraine at the negotiating table?
No, because ultimately Ukraine has to decide not to fight. I mean, they would be hard pressed to continue the fight, particularly by June when all of the ammunition we've already provided start running out, without the U.S. support. But they can, especially if Europe really steps up, and they've already proven that they beat the odds. Right? Most analysts like myself were predicting 3 weeks, and it would have been over. And now we're over 3 years. So don't count them out. But the U.S. needs to continue to support. It's not just altruistic. It is in our own interest. They are depleting the Russian military so substantially that within the last 2 years, they lost more soldiers than we lost during the entirety of a war in Iraq. It is really taxing on them, and it's difficult for them to maintain this.
Right.
But it will be difficult for Ukraine to keep up that level without the U.S. full support.